2018 Audi A5 Cabriolet Review. The good points of Audi A5 Cabriolet: well-insulated cabin, impressive media system, good array of powertrains, practical roof design. The bad points of Audi A5 Cabriolet: rear passengers lack legroom, expensive to get, expensive to feature options, not pretty much as good to drive as A5 Coupe. The Audi A5 Cabriolet would be the manifestation of 25% of a century of experience building four-seat soft-top cars. What's it like? Starting last 1992, while using first Audi Cabriolet, the corporation has reached a stage now the location where the compromise is traditionally familiar with removing the metal roof at a car, poorer handling, noisier roof-up refinement and significantly reduced practicality, have already been all but eradicated. A natural rival for the Mercedes-Benz class Cabriolet and BMW 4 Series convertible, as well as slightly more left-field options like the Ford Mustang convertible plus the Range Rover Avant convertible, the A5 is definitely an incredibly accomplished package. With your roof up, it'll genuinely seat four in relative comfort. A vent off, it might be a squeeze for that longer leg within the back. And there's a usefully sized luggage compartment behind the folding rear seats to slot within a couple of suitcases. What's underneath the bonnet? There work just like surprises here, with a choice of very capable turbocharged TFSI petrol and Tdi diesel engines coupled into a selection of slick and responsive manual and automatic gearboxes. There's something to fit a wide choice of tastes and preferences. We're particularly impressed with all the 2.0-liter TDI, that provides low running costs and punchy performance, plus it doesn't appear to be a tractor or shatter the solace on a summer's day if you lower the rooftop. And if you wish something a little fruitier, the S5 Cabriolet perhaps there is to satisfy those trying to find some extra performance as well as something sweeter to be handled by when the top's down. Is there a high-performance option? Sort of. There's no RS5 Cabriolet up to now. Even so, the S5 Cabriolet is around to provide a more thrilling experience compared to standard versions. Resplendent, which consists of 3.0-liter V6 boasting 354 horsepower and sportier styling as well. High-quality interior is usually a delight. If you're usually in full view with the world with all the roof down, the inner environment must be pretty special, plus the A5 doesn't disappoint, using a slick design and top-notch materials used throughout. It's all lifted completely from the A4 range. It's pure Audi class and simplicity, though with an upmarket think that its rivals find it difficult to match, and lives up towards the handsome exterior styling with sharp lines and creases and bright LED lights all around. The verdict: the Audi A5 Cabriolet is usually a very strong proposition in the event you're within the market for just a four-seat convertible. Not only does it look nice, the inner is beautifully built and feels preferable over the cabins of the closest rivals. It's also good to operate a vehicle with a wide variety of powertrain options that aren't very expensive to run. It's incredibly refined with all the roof up, so that it's usable during the entire winter, so there's little compromise in taking a soft top within the coupe. And everything you do gain could be the ability to experience the sun on those rarest of bright summer days. 5 engines offered to choose from. Manual, automatic and twin-clutch auto offered. Audi Drive select to flick between drive modes. There's a couple diesel engines and a couple of petrol engines to choose from on the A5 Cabriolet, that has a further high-performance V6 petrol from the S5 Cabriolet. Each option does have its advantages, and within the main they're all refined and perfectly fit for purpose, exactly whatever you'd expect from Audi. Tdi Diesel. Two diesel engines are available from the A5 Cabriolet, that you can get elsewhere inside Audi range. There's a 2.0-liter TDI with 190 horsepower and also a generous 400 Nm of torque. It comes exclusively using a 7-speed automatic S-tronic gearbox. This engine can do powering the A5 from 0 miles per hour in 8.3 seconds and on to a highly regarded speed of 145 miles per hour. In case you opt for this engine with quattro all-wheel drive, the 0 miles per hour sprint drops to 7.8 seconds. The A5 fitted with this particular engine feels very accomplished to operate a vehicle. It helps that this gearbox has the right gear to hand if you're accelerating, which will keep the engine rolling around in its ideal power band. Even so, the motor itself is also extremely smooth, and thanks to your incredibly well-insulated cabin, almost silent within the move, you'd battle to recognize it's a diesel in many situations. If you will want more powerful TDI, there's a 3.0-liter V6 TDI pushing out 218 horsepower and 400 Nm of torque, and is also capable completing the 0 miles per hour sprint in 6.8 seconds, going on to reach 149 miles per hour like the 2.0 TDI. It has an automatic gearbox, but only with quattro all-wheel drive. TFSI Petrol Power. There are two petrol engines, badged TFSI, when you prefer petrol to diesel. The first option can be a 2.0-liter with 190 horsepower and 320 Nm paired that has a 6-speed manual, the sole engine available, which has a manual gearbox or maybe a 7-speed S-tronic dual-clutch auto. In both manual and auto form it will range from 0 miles per hour in 7.9 seconds, with top speeds of 148 miles per hour and 147 miles per hour respectively. Both of these versions only have front-wheel drive. The 190 horsepower petrol might be more than adequate for some drivers' needs. It's almost silent operational but pulls well from low revs and works seamlessly in the event you go with the automatic gearbox. It's a fantastic package and occupies a sweet spot from the range relating to the low-cost diesel as well as the high-excitement S5, meaning it's a significant compromise. If you demand somewhat more oomph from the A5, there's another 252 horsepower 2.0-liter TFSI to opt for with 370 Nm of torque. Coming exclusively having a 7-speed automatic gearbox and quattro all-wheel drive, it'll sprint from 0 miles per hour in 6.3 seconds, and may reach 149 miles per hour at top speed. Audi A5 Cabriolet. The highest performing option receives a 3.0-liter TFSI petrol V6 with 354 horsepower and quattro all-wheel drive mated in an 8-speed automatic gearbox. With a 0 miles per hour use of just 5.1 seconds, it's easily by far the most rapid version in the A5 cab, through an electronically limited top speed of 155 miles per hour. This engine is by far one of the most exciting inside range, using more than enough power for virtually any situation. It sounds great too, that has a deep rumble at low speeds, then increasing volume and frequency because the revs increase. Audi Drive Select. Controlled by way of a switch below the primary infotainment screen, the Drive Select system allows the motive force to tailor the automobile's characteristics towards the type of driving they're doing. For example, on your own favorite broad plunge to dynamic, and it also sharpen the throttle response and tell the gearbox to keep on to each gear longer, making for steer performance. Comfort mode does the alternative, while in eco mode aims to the most efficient drive and introduces a coasting function with the gearbox, which decouples it in the engine after you lift away from the throttle to avoid wasting fuel. This may be disconcerting initially, but you'll soon learn to operate a vehicle around it. The final setting is individual, which allows the driving force to set up their unique mode dependent on their chosen parameters. Very tidy and controlled they are driving. S5 is outright winner here. Parking facilitated with tech. Thanks into a very stiff body shell, approximately 40% more rigid versus the previous generation, the A5 cabriolet's handling is very accomplished considering it lacks the strengthening metallic roof provides. With quattro all-wheel drive system and adaptive suspension, the A5 has huge grip reserves and balanced, confident cornering abilities. Put the Audi Drive Select system into dynamic for the firmer, sportier setup or get out in auto in order that it can decide upon itself the way the chassis should perform based on your own driving. This same system adjusts the weighting from the steering accordingly, although difference can be difficult to detect on lower performance engines. Even without quattro, though, it's a tidy handler with good body control and impressive grip. You only spot the lack of all-wheel drive in greasier road conditions, but that's only in case you have a more exuberant driving style. In reality, a front-wheel drive car will suit many, because A5 Cabriolet encourages someone to slow down and experience the ride. However, it's nice to understand it won't unravel itself and feel too cumbersome if and whenever you do want to have a little bit more fun. Best from the bunch. The Audi S5 Cabriolet would be the best inside lineup drive-in automobile by a long margin, because its sportier pretensions have allowed the firm's engineers to dial in many weighting and feel for the steering, which means the motive force feels a much better connection using the car. In this way, it's some distance behind the likes with the BMW 440i, while not quite as involving. We found the lesser-powered models suffered slightly due to some pronounced numbness from the front end, but that is only apparent when pressing on, and frankly in the event you're doing that next, the S5 would be the car available for you anyway. The flip side is light, user-friendly steering that creates lower speed maneuvering easier. Parking performance. With your roof up, parking may be hindered slightly by obscured vision round the rear quarters with the car, but standard parking sensors help here, and you've also got the extra cost option to provide a 360-degree parking camera or even an automatic parking system for making this that much easier. Smart cabin with quality build. High-tech multimedia system. Driving position isn't perfect. The cabin from the A5 Cabriolet is really a particularly nice location to be. The materials feel good quality, and all from the switchgear includes a reassuring weighting with it that further amplifies the premium method of drop-top motoring. We've been very impressed inside the past with Audi's Mmi Navigation and Infotainment arrangements, plus in this car it's exactly the same. The integration of Google Maps plus the optional virtual cockpit digital dial setup is really a particularly neat feature. Set the dash to indicate to zoom and look at your immediate surroundings, whilst the dash-mounted screen is capable of displaying a view in the wider area. Scroll out far enough and yes, it'll even show the weather as with other places along your route. Or you'll be able to switch between trip computer and what's playing around the media system, using a choice of big or small dials, depending on your preference, while the primary screen sitting for the dash can present the same information, in addition to more from the car's settings. All with the car's multimedia functions may be controlled with the rotary Mmi controller because of the gear lever. However, the A5 Cabriolet also features voice activation using microphones from the seatbelts, a neat concept that also means you're able from making yourself heard better when talking about the phone using Bluetooth connectivity. Potentially problematic driving position. While most will see the A5's driving position absolutely fine, with plenty adjustment within the supportive yet comfortable seats and leader, others may struggle. Some will find the motive forces seat isn't quite in line while using pedals and controls, that could make them feel uncomfortable over long distances. It's worth noting until this isn't a worry for all drivers. While overall visibility for that driver is a great one, the optional mesh wind deflector hampers the rearward view using the roof down, yet you'll need it in location to keep the wind from intruding too harshly at higher speeds. Adaptive suspension impresses. But won't be extremely popular. Highly impressive cabin insulation. This is the one other area the place that the A5 Cabriolet shines. Thanks towards the strong structure and a really well-insulated cabin, it's an outstanding attempt by Audi with one major caveat: we've only driven cars with electrically controlled adaptive suspension to date, a possibility that under 5% of buyers will pick. With the top down, there's very little wind intrusion provided that you keep the windows up and also the wind deflector rolling around in its vertical position. It's all too easy to have a conversation using your passenger at motorway speeds. The most impressive thing here, however, is the place hushed it is with all the roof up. It's just like you are driving a metallic-roofed car. It features a fabric top that's generous levels of insulation, but its payoff, the A5 Cabriolet's construction, also plays a massive part in isolating wind, road and engine noise. For instance, it features thicker windows as opposed to coupe and Sportback versions. 4 trims levels to select. 3 normal plus performance S5. Vast assortment of options to include kit. There are 4 specifications levels being offered here. The A5 Cabriolet comes in say, Sport and S-Line. As you move, the higher performance S5 sits atop the tree for the present time. While lower trims undoubtedly are a little parsimonious within their offerings, there's a huge selection of options to personalize and update your car. Standard Audi A5 Cabriolet equipment. At base specs A level, these features come as standard. 17-inch alloy wheels. Audi Drive select drive modes. Front and rear parking sensors. Xenon headlights with auto lights and wipers. Leather upholstery with heated front seats. 3-zone climate control. Fully automatic fabric roof within a choice of 4 colors: red, black, dark gray and brown. Seatbelt microphones to the standard smartphone interface. Automatic low-speed braking. Moving nearly sport, additionally net U. Mmi Infotainment including sat-nav. Electrically adjustable front sports seats with 4-way lumbar support. LED interior lighting package. S-Line versions get 18-inch alloys. LED headlights and tail lamps featuring scrolling indicators. S-Line specific body styling. Sports seats trimmed in leather and Alcantara. Lowered, stiffer sports suspension with all the no-cost option of your comfier setup if need be. Standard Audi S5 Cabriolet equipment. Sitting with the pinnacle with the A5 range, the S5 Cabriolet enjoys the biggest specification. S5 specific body styling. 19-inch alloys. 3-spoke multi-function controls. Nappa leather sports seats. Mmi Navigation Plus with 8.3-inch screen. 10-speaker subwoofer. LED interior lighting. Audi virtual cockpit. Optional Audi A5 and S5 cabriolet accessories. Highlights from your extensive optional extras list available for the drop-top A5 and S5 include: manual wind deflector behind front seats, sits over rear seats. Electronically operated wind deflector behind rear seats. A larger 24-liter AdBlue tank for diesel models as well as a 54-liter fuel tank to the 2.0 Tdi to improve its range. Automatic boot opening from your car key. Wireless smartphone charging. Audi's virtual cockpit. A Bang & Olufsen 3D surround sound 19-speaker hi-fi system. Traffic sign recognition. Folding, automatically dimming door mirrors. LED interior lighting. Head-up display. Heated tire. Heating for back and front seats. Automatically dipping high beam. Hill start assist. Matrix LED headlights. Tinted rear windows. Sport differential rear brake calipers, active suspension S5 only. Variable speed dependent steering. Adaptive cruise control. Decent standard kit. More available as options. Coupe achieved 5-star rating. A stiff body shell and a variety of airbags about the cabin show that fundamentally the Audi A5 Cabriolet can be a safe car. While it shares many parts with all the A4 Saloon and A5 Coupe, EuroNCAP has specified the 5-star rating awarded for many years does not apply towards the Cabriolet, because of its heavier weight. It hasn't been tested yet. Expect it to perform in the similar way, though. As standard, you will get an automatic parking system and autonomous emergency braking together with cruise control and xenon headlights with LED daytime running lamps. Optional safety kit. There certainly are a number of packs that will offer extra safety and driver assistance technology. These include Driver Assistance Pack Tour, Adaptive Cruise Control, Automatic Braking, Traffic Sign Recognition, Collision Avoidance Assistant allows you steer around impending obstacles, Turn Assist prevents taking out into oncoming traffic, Active Lane Keeping. Light and Vision Pack, Audi Virtual Cockpit, Matrix LED headlights with directional indicators, LED interior lighting. Parking Assistance Pack, 360-degree camera, automatic parking. Parking Assistance Pack Advanced, cross-traffic warning, low-speed automatic collision warning and prevention. Technology Pack, upgraded sat-nav with 36-month internet connectivity, wireless smartphone charging. Vision Pack, Audi Virtual Cockpit, head-up display, automatically dipping high-beam headlights. Neat roof design. Decent-sized boot. Seating for 4. The main thing to make note of here may be the roof takes 15 seconds to open up, 18 seconds to shut, and can operate at speeds nearly 31 miles per hour, by having one touch on the button located for the central console between driver and front passenger seats. This makes it an immensely versatile machine. You'll be able to raise or lower your roof pulling around traffic lights when you're caught short in a very squall. Inside the automobile there's a welcome extra inch of shoulder room between front occupants, however the rear seats are simply really appropriate for smaller people if 6-foot-tall adults are beforehand. They're also completely redundant in the event you use the wind deflector, which can be a must when you're traveling at any type of speed while using roof down, and keep wind buffeting to some minimum. We found Headroom impressive while using roof in Spot 2. This isn't a cramped car in any respect unless you're resigned to sitting inside back for periods of time. Community can be quite dark. However, it's not as bad in any way. The A5 isn't a frightening car to operate a vehicle or maneuver, although rear visibility can be a little more restricted compared to coupe due for the fabric roof and smaller rear windows. Total boot capacity is 380 liters. As you move, the rear seats split in 3 and fold forward using levers inside boot to permit longer weight to be stowed. However, this isn't available for the S5 Cabriolet. If you want the cover down, you should sacrifice 60 liters of boot room, but handily there's a switch inside that allows one to drop the box the rooftop folds into independently, so it is possible to work out whether your cases will fit into any situation when you set off without operating the full soft-top mechanism.